There's another universe. Please make some noise. Give me a
Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond the Syllabus. Today I'm doing another interview with a very special person in my heart. Welcome, Laian.
Hello, everyone. I'm Laian, and I'm so happy to be here today and being interviewed by Lujane.
Oh my God. Introduce yourself. Which major are you in? What uni are you in right now?
I'm currently in my third year in Biomedical Sciences in Biochemistry at the University of
Mm.
Windsor. And I just finished my third year, and right now I'm going into my fourth.
Tell me a little bit about your major. What is your major about? What do you take?
Right now, we're focusing on the foundation and the background about the human body and the biology of the
Mm.
body. So,
Mm.
we're taking stuff about the cell, about the different systems. We also include
That's
a couple like math courses and physics
mm.
courses in the first year, which helps
Mm.
us prepare for if you want to do like graduate, if you want to go to graduate school, for
Mm.
example, like
Mm.
optometry, dentistry, med school,
Mm.
or if you want to pursue research and continue with masters.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's really good, mashallah. I heard, okay, actually I didn't hear, I experienced it. You were in Nobles
I
when when
Novels was my first school that I ever entered. I went from kindergarten till grade 9. I
Mm.
finished my grade 9
Mm.
when then
That's insane.
I know, and then I moved to Canada.
Mm. Oh my God. Okay, so my graduation project is about the gap of high school to university.
Mhm.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about, since you didn't really take high school with novels, but do you feel like a part of you when you went to another school, you took a little bit of stuff from novels maybe?
Absolutely. To be honest, since my foundation started at Novels, it
Mm.
really helped me learn about like the school environment and everything. Even though it was a big change from moving from a country to another country, it was quite, the cultural shock.
Mhm.
However, the
Mhm.
skills that I learned at Novels were, for example, time management, integrity, being on time, punctuality. These were all skills
Mhm.
that I needed and I had from being at that school. And then when I
Mhm.
shifted to Canada, it was the exact same skills and the good foundation that I already established was like I felt like I had with me,
Yes.
which really helped me
Mm.
adjust to the new school environment. Despite it being like
Mm.
quite different, though it's still like those skills were
Yeah.
essential for me to get used to it.
Oh, that's so. The thing is that, especially to us humans, when we adapt from school to university is a different thing, but school to school and different countries,
Hmm.
can you tell us a little bit about how that process was?
Absolutely.
You know,
It was
because we're
quite
still,
it
yeah.
was quite the shock at first. Like for example, my first day in class, I
Mm.
remember, I wasn't really introduced to the students there. I was just told to go take a seat, and it was quite the shock. Like I
Oh.
was used when students like transferred to our school, they would introduce them, and they were like, "Oh, this is the new student," and like give us a little background about yourself. However, right now,
Yes.
when I moved, it wasn't really like that, so it was quite the shock for me, and it was more independent where I had to go and approach people instead of getting that help from like the teachers
Mm.
or being so it was a little bit like difficult at first,
Yeah.
but then life moves on.
God moves on. Yes, no, that's so true. Like life really does move on. Especially when I was doing workshops with grade nine, because I was discussing with them about how high school, of course, the idea of high school to university, it's such a, oh my God, a huge idea. But there are some habits that you take with you to uni.
Hmm.
And one of them that I was telling them you need to take with you is the idea that life moves on. You know?
Absolutely.
Yes, obviously, mashallah, you went through the transition of country to country when you were a child. I feel like it's so silly of me now to ask you,
No.
what was the hardest transition to you, high school to university?
Hmm. High school to university, I would definitely, the big one is you're on your own. To be honest, it's you who
Mm.
have to go to classes, who have to set up your alarms, sleep early, wake up early, because there is no one telling you you have to go. For example, the professors, to be honest, couldn't care less if you show up to their lectures or not. Like it's you, it's up to you. It's
Mm,
depending on your
mm,
responsibility
yeah.
and your sense of like I have to go or not. So that
Yes.
was the biggest transition because like literally you're on your own. And for example, the professors,
Mm-hmm.
some doctors don't
Mm-hmm.
really care about their students much, if that's the right word to say.
Yes.
Like they literally
Yeah.
like just like for example, they could be talking the whole lecture and not necessarily relate it to the actual content, which is quite hard. And like you have to rely on yourself a lot for getting
A
the
lot.
resources, for teaching yourselves the new content. So it was quite a
Mm-hmm.
transition. And also for, as I said, no, there's not really attendance for you to be there. So yeah, it
Mm.
really comes to your sense of responsibility and whether you are able to do it or not. Your determination. So yeah, it was quite the
Wow.
shift.
Yeah, oh my God, no, like it literally was. Obviously, since you talked about the professors and like this, I wanna shift a little bit to the idea of what did you do in uni? Do you remember any project that you did or experience that you did that you will just always remember?
Absolutely. In my first year, I remember taking my first chemistry chem lab. It was a huge transition from high school to university
Mm-hmm.
labs. It was more like hands on, like you actually wear a lab coat and you have to actually do stuff. So the first time I ever worked, yes, it was quite crazy. Like, for example, first time working on
Yeah.
scale, you bring your beaker, your Erlenmeyer flask, and then like you measure stuff and actually do the reaction.
Oh my God, like a little chemist.
Right? It was like the very first lab I've ever done. I was so excited.
Mm.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yay, finally!
And also yeah, it was quite fun, I can't lie. Like it was an experience.
Mm. No, that's really I feel like I'm saying it so much, but it is cute because we always envision ourselves in the major that we enter. It's what we're going to be, and for you to experience that in the first year, not even the last year, the first year. Oh, talking about the first year, people always say that second and third, obviously they get harder.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you experienced that? Like, oh my God, like it was not like this. You get me? Like you get the idea that it's harder, but like in what sense did it get harder other than, the actual subjects?
Hmm. So, what it gets harder, aside from the actual content, is the workload. As you, like, for example, as you move up like a
Mm,
year, there are more expectations expected from you. So, aside from the academics, like going to class, doing
mm,
your midterms, writing, submitting your
mm,
assignments, you also need to do a lot of extracurricular activities, and that is your
mm,
involvement, like with clubs, with research, with the professors. So, being involved out there in the community aside from the workload that you have to do in academics and maintaining a good GPA, you're
yeah.
also going to need to volunteer outside, which quite takes a
Mm,
lot of your time, and time management is quite hard. And also, competitiveness increase. So, for example, for first year, the courses were roughly the same across a lot of majors. For example,
mm,
us biomed students, like science students,
mm.
and the engineers had 3 to 4 courses that were the same in the first year. Yes.
Oh,
We all had to do calculus, we all had to do physics, we all had to do chemistry. So it was quite the
oh,
same courses. However, as
yeah.
you go up, as you move up a year,
Mm,
that's when like
mm,
you get more and more into your subjects and that's where competitiveness
mm.
begins. So, for example, you and
Yes.
your classmates are taking the exact same workload. However,
Mm-hmm.
what they do, like their extracurricular activities, are like
Yeah.
what differentiates them from you. So that's where the stress
Come
kicks in.
on.
And that's when you want to
Mm,
do more and more. So that is why you would be considered harder because of competitiveness, time management,
mm.
workload, and all of these stuff.
And all of this. Talking about extracurriculars, have you done any extracurricular that you will be okay to share with us?
Absolutely. Right now, I'm the
Mm.
director or the president of the Biomed Student Association Club.
You're joking.
Yes.
What? What? This needs a badge by its own. What? Girl?
Yeah. So what we basically do is that our main focus is to be the bridge between the students and the faculty, like the biomedical sciences, and between the professors. So when you shift to
Mm,
uni, a lot of the students feel like stumped on the idea. There are a lot of students in class. The professor or the teacher
mm,
is not going to know my teaching style. So there is always that fear that, oh my God, am I doing professor?
enough.
Exactly. Am I doing enough? Is this properly? Am I studying well? Like, is this what is
Mm,
expected from me? So
mm,
they fear that and they feel that professors don't really want to talk to students. However, our main
mm.
idea is to represent the ideas that students face and we introduce them to the
Yes.
professors so they can make it like easier. So the students are more comfortable in that setting because again, it's a big transition
Yeah.
from high school to uni.
True. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We talked about the studies, we talked about extracurriculars. One of the major things when I did a survey to the high school students, and while I'm doing workshops with them, they're always like, what if I go to uni and I don't have friends?
Mm-hmm.
So I realized one of their fears to uni isn't even related to their major. It's
Mm-hmm.
about how their social life is going to change. What can you tell us through that from your experience as also being third year?
Hmm. Absolutely. It's definitely the hardest thing, to be honest, because as we as we said,
Dang.
yes, studying together is really effective.
Mm-hmm.
However, finding the
Mm-hmm.
right like friend group is quite hard, especially if people move into that uni with their friend group from high school and you're trying
Oh,
to
yes.
fit in with their friend
Oh,
group.
fit in.
Yes,
Mm,
it is
mm.
quite hard, I can't lie. However, you are not alone in university. There will be work projects which force you to talk to other students. There will be
Yes.
labs where you
Mm.
need to partner up with someone you've never met before. And they you're not alone. You can never be alone like in university because this their expectations is that you need to communicate. Communication is one of the biggest skills that you learn in university.
Wow.
Absolutely. And that is done again through work projects, like where you need to talk to other
Mm-hmm.
students, or even like in the lecture hall,
Mm-hmm.
like the professors might ask
Mm-hmm.
a question and they would go like
Mm-hmm.
discuss it with your partner on your left or discuss it with your partner on your right. So you can, because they know that it's a hard shift, especially if you like you moved out or transitioned to a different city or went to a university
Yes.
by yourself. So
Mm, true.
they know that, so they try to do it subtly. So it's not really, oh
Totally.
yeah,
Yes.
go be friends
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. No, you see, this is really something I do appreciate about novels is that they really do this thing regarding
Absolutely.
group projects. Like in grade 12, I'm not even joking. I would have projects that are like 1 month long, 2 months long even, or my graduation project, which is like the whole year long. But the graduation project is individual work. All of my work has been literally group projects. And even though it can be annoying, I'm always like telling myself it's for the future, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's true, it's really taught me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a very
Yeah.
good thing that I carried on from novels, to be honest. It did really help introduce
Aw.
me. Like, yeah, it really helped establish that communication skill at the
Mm.
very beginning. Because even at an
Yeah.
early age,
Yeah.
we did do a couple group projects.
Yes.
I do remember,
Yes.
and it helped me really like get over that boundary that yes, I can talk to other students that I'm not comfortable with, which is really, really
Yes.
good. And that skill carried on
Mm.
and grew with me as the years went on.
And that's amazing to hear. You know, what do you feel like is one life skill currently in uni that was very hard? Some girls, let me tell you, مثلا, while I was interviewing, okay, one of the girls said that the idea of finance budgeting with them was so hard. One of them said the time management
Mm-hmm.
never worked with them. What do you feel, in your opinion, was, yeah.
I really, really struggle with time management, I can't lie. And aside from
Mm,
time management, even the sense of responsibility, I'm gonna tell you this.
mm.
Once you start skipping a lecture,
Go ahead.
you can never stop. You skip once, that's it. That's it.
You're done.
you're
You're
done.
done.
You're never showing up to that lecture again. Because once you do it once, like tastahini billah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can do it on my own. You do it once and you feel like, okay, this is not bad.
Yes.
It will be hard to get back on it. And to be honest, the biggest struggle is during Ramadan. University during
Mm.
Ramadan having 8:30 a.m. classes after you spend the whole night like praying to the Lord and fasting and you're exhausted.
Wake up at 8 in the morning. You got class.
Wake
Ugh.
up at 7 in the morning. Yeah, because class is at
Oh my
8:30. So it was quite hard and that sense of responsibility that no, you need to get back on it and like focus and push
Mhm,
yourself is quite hard and challenging, I can't lie. And to be honest,
mhm.
never start skipping class no matter how useless you feel that class is. Do not skip it.
I'll take that as a no.
Do
Mm.
not skip that class. And also time management, to be
Yeah.
honest. As I've mentioned before, the idea of having extracurricular activities aside from academics workload, it is quite challenging. Like for example,
Mm.
do you have time for yourself? You're drowning in like schoolwork and extracurricular activities and volunteering. Do you have time to just sit for a
Yeah.
minute by yourself and look after yourself? It's quite hard. Like sometimes you get lost in the process,
That's so
which
true.
is hard.
Yeah, honestly. Okay, so I don't know how to say this to you. My life is through a schedule. My friends would be like, Lujane, can we call you? I'm like, you can call me between 4:15 and 5:10 p.m.
We love
So,
that.
no.
Being organized,
Huh?
pop off, organized. We
Exactly.
love that.
Exactly. Yeah, be happy that I'm even putting you on my schedule. But yeah, yeah, I still can't believe your third year of uni, and now and the end of this year, I'm gonna be first year of
Which is
uni. It's
crazy.
insane.
Which is crazy.
It's
Mind if
insane.
I ask you, what are you fearing from the first year of uni? What is your biggest fear?
Fear? Can I tell you something? I am not fearing anything.
Oh,
Girl, I swear. One of my teachers even asked me this question, okay? I have no problem with school whatsoever, but in a certain point of life, you see that step as, Alhamdulillah, you did it, you're done with it, you want to go through the next chapter. And these past couple of months, I have been feeling this way. And, I know people tell me, what about the workload? What about the social life? What about the, like, whatever happens, happens. It happens by Allah's will. If I don't find friends in the first year, it was never meant to be. So,
absolutely.
I don't really fear it. I don't really fear. And now you're giving me this advice. It's even like helping me more. Having doing these interviews, it's very comforting. So
I
thank you for the
appreciate that.
question, by the way. No one asked me a question. You're the first one to ask me a question.
That is a wonderful mindset to walk into towards uni because a lot of people fear a lot of stuff, but this is amazing. And the idea of it is what it is. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be is amazing, and it is
Yeah.
so true.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you so much, Laian Tareq, for this interview. You are my last interviewee, and
Thank you.
thank you so much. I hope you guys learned a little bit with us through this interview. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.